Hello, leading ladies. My name is Ngafeeson. I am the daughter of Dr. and Mrs. Ngafeeson. I am blessed to share both of them with you here today. I introduce to you a mother who cares for her children and has wonderfully raised 3 of them. A wife who is understanding and has the biggest heart I know. A sister who will stand by your side no matter what. A professional who always strives to be the best. And a true friend. Please help me to welcome my mom and your sister and friend, Mrs. Claudia Ngafeeson.
Hello, my precious leading ladies from around the world. How exciting to be with you all today on this virtual conference. If you are on this line watching on Facebook, on YouTube, on whatever device you are using, you are a true leading lady. Why do I say so? We live in challenging times that have demanded of us to just call in fear and do nothing. But we have overcome the odds, and we are here on this virtual conference, ready to learn, ready to build ourselves, ready to encourage one another to become all that God has ordained for us to be. And best of all, to build legacies that will last. I want to start by thanking my team of speakers for this Leading Lady Conference. You have been exceptional. I want to thank Mrs. Viban and Pastor Kathy, who went ahead of me. They have done a tremendous job on speaking to us about the place and the power of legacy and the purpose, and teaching on the purpose and legacy. Like you already know, my name is Claudia Ngafeeson. I'm the wife of Dr. Madison Ngafeeson, a board member with Lead Missions International. I am a registered nurse by profession and also a student. I'm doing my doctorate program in nursing practice at Northern Michigan University here in the United States of America. I want to introduce myself to you. I am a woman who is passionate about helping women find their purpose in life and live it. That is why this Leading Lady Conference 2020, under the theme Building a Legacy, is very close to my heart. And I want to help us embark on this journey on how we can build our legacy. You know, if we keep living our lives like every other woman on the planet Earth, without having a direction, without having a mindset thinking, when I leave this place, what happens? Then our lives will just be wasted. I want to take us on a journey to legacy. Are you ready, ladies? Are you truly ready to go on this journey with me? Okay, if you're ready, I want you to hop into the car and let's get going. So to begin, I just want to tell you something that happened this year that was very dear to my heart. On Mother's Day, my kids came around me and they tried to express themselves on how they felt about me. My daughter Triumph said, "You've taught me to be relentless in the face of challenges, and that has taught me to keep moving in life even when I am faced with challenges as a young woman." And Lam, my son, said, "You have taught me how to love unconditionally." Why am I telling you this? For me, this is legacy. That day, I told myself, even if I never impacted any other person in my life, if I die today, I will go down a happy woman, because I know my children have understood who I am and they can run with this aspect of my life forever. Let's look at the word legacy. Legacy is leaving somebody behind who portrays or carries your image, values, and what you stand for as evidence of you being here. That is why I say that if I die today, I will know that I have left a legacy in my children, because we say that legacy is leaving somebody behind who portrays your image and your values. So, leading lady, what is your value? What is the image that you keep portraying to the world? That will be your legacy. I want you to think about it. So for us to take this journey to legacy, I want us to address 3 questions. These 3 questions are going to make us to understand what legacy is all about. You know, if you want to go on a journey, you want to understand what it would take to be on this journey. The journey to legacy doesn't have an end. It is not a journey that has a destination. It is a journey that goes from generation to generation. So it's something you want to sit back and really think about it, right? So we have 3 important questions that we'll be dealing with today. The first question is, what kind of legacy do I want to leave behind? For us to successfully answer this question, we have to first of all answer the question of who am I and why am I here on earth? What is the true reason of your existence? We can't establish a legacy when we don't know who we are and the reason of being here. Remember, I told us your legacy is the image of your entire being. So if you don't understand who you are, then you cannot build a legacy. For example, I'll start with myself. I am Claudia Ngafeeson, a woman who is passionate about the purpose and the destiny of women in my family, in my community, in my country, and the world at large. My desire is to help every woman I come across in life to discover their purpose in life and leave it here on earth before they check out. That is my purpose. That is my drive in life. With this in mind, I know what kind of legacy I want to leave behind when I leave this place. So that makes me that every time I meet any woman that comes across my life, I want to help them find their purpose. I want to help them discover why they are here on earth. I want to help them discover the very reason for their existence. Because I believe that when a woman knows her very reason of existence, she lives a life of purpose. She lives a very meaningful life. You may think Mrs. Ngafeeson has it all figured out. But I did not have this understanding until in my late 30s. So if you are here, maybe in your 20s, in your 30s, in your 40s, in your 50s, it doesn't matter what age group you find yourself. The most important thing is finding that purpose, finding your reason for being here on earth. The Frenchman would say, your raison d'être. I hope my French is good enough. I did not find mine till in my late 30s. So I've been in that place where I just live life without an understanding of what my legacy will be. And now I have an understanding, and I can live a meaningful life. I want to assure you, my dear sisters, we are together on this journey to legacy. Our legacy will be defined by the passion and the impact that we leave in the lives of our children, especially our daughters that we have brought here today. It will have an impact on the community of people that we live among. It will have an impact on the country where we live. It will have an impact to the world at large. How will you want your generation to remember you? One of my favorite mentors by the name John Maxwell, I know that most of our speakers are going to mention him in one way or the other. He says, I want you to listen to this very carefully. Someday, people will summarize your life in a single sentence. My advice is pick it now. when we go 6 feet down, people are going to summarize our life in one sentence. What will you want that sentence to be? It is better for you to choose it now so that you don't give people work to do, or you don't leave them to make assumptions of who you were. So, my encouragement for us today is, what kind of legacy do you want to leave behind? You want to know why you are here, and then you can begin to build your legacy. Our second question that we have to establish as we are journeying to legacy is, how can we leave our legacy while alive? You know, the common understanding is our legacy will be made up when we are dead, and people have to write something about us, make some eulogies, make speeches about us. But I want to say that the journey to legacy starts now, today, and not when we are checked out from this earth. This is the time when you want to build your legacy. That is why once we have an understanding of our legacy, we have to start introducing it to our children, to our family, our community, and our world at large. Remember, our legacy is an image of who we are and the values that we keep. So don't wait till you go down before they start thinking, who was Claudia? Who was Mercy? Who was Rose? Who was this woman? You want to start living your life of legacy today. When you live your purpose with intentionality, it will be evident to everyone what your life is all about. It will not be a guesswork for people. It won't. Eventually, this will impact the lives of the people around you, and they will pass it on to others from generation to generation. When you hear the name Mother Teresa, what comes to mind? I will guess it will be helping the poor. I read a story about Mother Teresa some few weeks back, and it really touched my heart immensely. The story spoke the word legacy so loud. You could not be guessing what her life was all about. It was so clear. So this story talks about the fact that Mother Teresa was on a trip with an American businessman here in the United States by the name Bob Macaulay. He had left his paper business and he was running now a charity organization. They were on a plane heading somewhere. While on this trip, Mother Teresa was served a plate of food. And she asked, what is the cost of this plate of food? She was told it would cost $5. And she had a request. She said, what if I don't want to eat this food? Can I have the $5 and you keep the food so that I can use this money to give to the poor or to help the poor children? And her request was granted. Because she did that, Bob Macaulay, the businessman who was traveling with her, did follow suit, did the same thing. And before they even got to their destination, everybody on the plane did same. Everybody gave up their food and said, okay, the money that was going to be used for this food, let's give it to Mother Teresa to help the poor. Why am I telling us this story? Here is the reason. This woman's passion was to help the poor. So she lived it while she was here on earth, and others followed suit. Her legacy influenced the people around her while she was here. And now that she is not here, people are still living and gleaning from that legacy. There are people who have written books about her. There are people who have gained knowledge from what she did, and they're doing same from all over the world. So you see why I say that it is important for us to leave our legacy while we are still alive. My challenge for us today will be that, are we going to wait till we are gone, wishing we'll be remembered, or we are going to start living our legacy today? Are you going to wait are you going to wait and just imagine and just hope that when you are gone, people will remember that you are a good woman? Do you just want to be remembered as a good woman? Is that all? Is that all you have to give, leading ladies? I think that there's so much more on the inside of you that you can give out. There's so much purpose and potential that God has placed on the inside of you that you can live it out while you are here so that the people can benefit from you. If you ask me, it will be good to see how my legacy has impacted my world while I am here and not only look down from heaven, right? I want to see it with my very eyes. I want to see my children grow and replicate me. I want to grow and see women that I've interacted with find their purpose and begin to live out that purpose and have meaning in life. I want to see my community transform because I am within that community. I don't want to leave and then just know that, oh, people start wondering, who was this Claudia? No. Seeing my legacy play before me could encourage me to do more. What about you? Are you going to wait for tomorrow, or are you going to start today? Our third question, come along with me. Remember, we are on a journey. We are journeying to legacy. It doesn't have a destination. It's going to go on and on and on. Our third question is, who will carry our legacy? Who will carry your legacy? Have you ever thought about that? Whoever carries your legacy or who you influence while you are here on earth will determine how far your legacy is going to go. Think about it. This year, we wanted our teenage girls. That is the very reason when we started talking about building a legacy, we wanted our daughters to come along with us. We do not want to enrich the grave with so much potentials on the inside of us rather than passing it on to our daughters or our sons to leave that legacy on and on. Our desire could be to reach out to the ends of the earth. Our desire could be, I want to reach out to the nations. But what if you never have that opportunity? What if you never had that chance to travel the world? Think about it. Your daughters, the women that you are going to influence, are going to go to the ends of the earth, and your legacy will move to the ends of the earth, even if you never travel to those places. I want to tell you a story of another exceptional woman whose legacy impacted her world when she lived and when she passed away. She is a woman named Harriet Tubman. She was an American abolitionist and a political activist who was born in slavery. I once watched the movie. It so touched my heart of the kind of legacy that this woman left behind. She grew up, remember I told you, she was born into slavery. And she grew up with her parents on the plantation. When she was growing up, the master of her mom had promised that they were going to grant her freedom, and even freedom for her entire family. But her mom never came to realize that promise from the master. But I think when I watched the movie, her mother kept telling the children, kept telling her family how they have been promised freedom. I want to believe that they imagine what it will be to be free. They imagine what life will be when they will not have to walk every day of their lives and be beaten. I can imagine how they envision how it will be, and they kind of thought, how can we go about it? How can we do to be free? But as they spoke about these things, the history tells us that Harriet began to develop a sense and a desire for justice. When she was 12 years old, that is when it really started manifesting. There was a slave that was going to be beaten or maltreated or something or the other, and Harriet took the blow for it. It was a heavyweight metal that was going to be thrown on this other slave, and Harriet came in the gap for it, and this metal hit her on the head. History tells us that because of that, she suffered serious headaches and narcolepsy. But because of that, she will end up falling into deep sleeps from time to time. And she believed that when she fell into those deep sleeps, God gave her revelations of how to save her people from slavery. As life would go on, she would run away and get freedom for herself, and she came back several times and delivered all the slaves from that plantation and even her family. Her parents desired that freedom, but they could not do it. But their daughter rose up and did it. Why? Because she heard her parents say that her mom was passing on her values, her desires, and her daughter picked it up. And she ran with that legacy, and she accomplished it. Therefore, this is where I'm heading to with this story. This lady, she left a legacy for the Black Americans here in America, and films have been produced after her. There are even devotionals that have been made out of her story. What is going to come out of your own story, leading lady? Who will carry that legacy? People are carrying on her legacy today. Black women, white women, women all over the world are quoting her for the great work that she did by delivering the slaves from slavery. What will your own story be? But this is where my challenge is going to. Our teenage daughters who are here today, remember, the dream that Harriet accomplished, the legacy that Harriet took on was from her mother. Our teenage daughters who are watching with us today, maybe they are sitting by you. I want to challenge you to take up the baton from your mothers and run with it. Go and do even better than we could ever do. Carry on the legacy to the ends of the earth where our feet cannot go. Today, we have established that for us to successfully embark on the journey to legacy, we must answer these three questions. What kind of legacy do we want to leave behind? How can we leave our legacy while alive? And lastly, who will carry our legacy? If we can answer these questions, then we are ready to go on this endless journey to legacy. There is no end to it. Remember, I told you, it goes on from generation to generation. Can we carry on this great task on our own? I would say that no. I'm a woman of faith. I know that there is no way I can live out my full potential. I can live out my legacy here on earth to the fullest without the help of my Creator. That is the Almighty God. So I will run to Him. If I were you, if you believe in the Almighty God, I will run to Him because He created me. He made me. He put within me the potentials. He put within me the reason why He put me here on earth. I will go back to Him and say, Father, help me live out my legacy before I leave this place. Leading ladies, I want to tell you, you were created for more. We cannot live our lives as though we were just taking a stroll on the streets of the earth. Life is not a dress rehearsal. You are not coming to have a dress rehearsal and then you will have another chance. Life is full of chances, but there are some chances that will never come back. There is so much in you that you cannot leave this earth and check out without people knowing who you truly were. You cannot leave this place without leaving an impact. You cannot leave this place leaving people thinking, who was she? You want to leave this place knowing that you have left a mark on the sun of the earth. One of my favorite authors by the name Valerie Burton says, life is finite, but your legacy is not. In other words, we are saying that the time we have here on earth to make an impact is limited, but our legacy will live on even after we have checked out of our earthly addresses. Our legacy is finite. If I were you, I would spend time to build my legacy today. I will spend time and pass on my legacy to my children, to my brothers, to my husband, to my community, to my country, to my world. Today, the world is a technology world. You can be in Africa and reach out to people in Asia, in America, in Australia. So don't sit back there and say, there is nothing I can do. If you touch one person, if you impact one person, that person can carry on your legacy to the ends of the earth. So, leading ladies, join me. Let us go on this journey to legacy with intentionality so that when we are not here, our lives will continue to speak on our behalf. What happens in our absence is legacy. So start building it today. Thank you very much for listening. I want to say a big God bless you to you, but don't forget, life is finite, but your legacy is not. Thank you.